Hello and welcome to Neolithic Ireland. Ireland is a small island which lies off the north coast of continental Europe, and it's littered with Neolithic remains. There are a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, the country never experienced popularisation, but the main reason is they were considered the realm of the fairies, and in Ireland we have a dark tradition of malevolent spirits and sprites. Megalithic monument building in Ireland ranges from the Neolithic, the New Stone Age, from about 4000 BCE to 2000 BCE and continued into the early Bronze Age. In this video we will take a grand tour of some of the well-known and not so well-known sites. We will look at the archaeology, the mythology, artwork and alignments, and all the theories that exist around these structures from our long distant past. In the woods behind Holt Castle in North County Dublin lies Holt Dolmen. This monument dates to around 2500 BCE, comprising of a very large capstone made of quartzite, estimated to weigh 75 tonnes. The capstone has slipped off the two portal stones which measure around 2.5 metres in height, and the doorstone has collapsed. Its local name is Adrian's grave and comes from the legend that Adrian, wife of Oscar, son of Uiscin and grandson to the legendary Finn McCool. When Oscar died at the Battle of Gabra, it is said that Adrian died of a broken heart. The story goes that Uiscin had her buried in this dolmen, a burial usually reserved for great warrior kings. Part of Bruna complex, Newgrange, the most well-known of the three tumuli on site, was built around 3200 BCE, surrounded by 97 curbstones, the most striking being the entrance stone. A passageway measuring 19 metres leads to a chamber with three alcoves, and it famously aligns with the rising sun of the winter solstice. The alignment was discovered by Professor Michael J. O'Kelly during excavations between 1962 and 1975. Recent ground scans covered in The Secret of the Boyne documentary may have discovered the existence of a second collapse chamber, known locally as the caves to many generations of children before access was restricted after excavations. On the north shore of the Boyne estuary lies two standing stones made from shale dating from about 2000 BCE. Richard Moore, Michael Byrne and Anthony Murphy discovered the larger stone aligns with Rockabill Island and the winter solstice rising sun. These stones were known as the grandparents locally. On the slopes of the Spurn Mountains, northwest of Cookstown in County Tyrone, lies 7 stone circles, 10 stone rows, 12 cairns. Carbon dating of the site puts it in use from the late Neolithic into the early Bronze Age. Also part of Bruna complex and the largest of the mounds, now consists of a large mound and 18 smaller satellite mounds. Surrounded by 127 curbstones, now contains a third of the Neolithic art in all of Western Europe, and it also contains 2 passages. The east-west orientation of the passages suggests an alignment with the equinoxes. Loch Crew is estimated to be 5,200 years old, dating to 3,200 BCE. 32 recorded cairns spread over 4 undulating hills in County Meath. The site has many beautifully decorated stones and the majority is of local gritstone. It is also believed that these cairns were once covered in white quartz. The late Martin Brennan did a lot of work on this site in the 1980s and documented many alignments in his book The Stones of Time. Notable ones being the alignment of Cairn T with the equinoxes. The sunlight hits the back stone while moving left to right, illuminating the solar symbols. and Carnell aligns with the cross-quarter days of Samhain and Imbolc, illuminating the limestone standing stone situated in the cairn. Known in Irish as Slieve na Collaig, which translates to Mountain of the Witch, legend has it to rule over all Ireland, the witch had to complete a great feat of strength. She leapt from hill to hill with stones in her apron, and as she jumped she dropped many stones. These stones became the cairns. This legend is also associated with Carramore in County Sligo. The hag's chair on the edge of Cairn T is an elaborately carved curbstone. Glendrude Dolmen, also known as Brennanstown Dolmen, is one of the finest examples of an Irish portal tomb. It is also one of the largest. Its capstone is estimated to weigh between 40 to 70 tons of granite and is believed to date from around 4000 BCE. It unusually faces west, unusual because most portal tombs are orientated in an easterly direction. The giant capstone, which is over 5 meters in length, has a curious V-shaped groove across its surface. Some suggest that they were used to drain rain from the tomb, others propose that it might have collected blood from sacrifices. Portnabrone Dolmen is one of Ireland's most iconic archaeological monuments. Situated on the High Burn limestone plateau, it is the oldest dated monument in Ireland. The large stone which lies at the rear of the monument was most likely a second capstone. Radiocarbon dating indicated that Portnabrone Dolmen was in continual use for a period of 600 years, between 3800 and 3200 BCE. The massive capstone rests on 5 upright stones, 2 portal stones, 2 orthostats, and an end stone, all made from local limestone. Fornox has a small passage leading into a wide chamber with 3 small offset alcoves. It was first excavated in the 1950s by P.J. Harness, and he dated the site to around 3000 BCE. During excavations, fragments of 65 burials and ornaments including pendants and beads were found. The name Fornox comes from the Irish For Connacht, which means the cold hills. The passage of Newgrange points to Fornox, which means the winter solstice. Sun rises over Fornox when viewed from Newgrange, although the mound is not visible. Lochgore is home to an abundance of ancient monuments, including many stone circles and standing stones. Grange Stone Circle, the largest, its entrance is aligned with the rising sun of the summer solstice and was built at least 4000 years ago, but may also go back as far as 6000 years. One of 11 stone circles that are known in the area, it contains the greatest number of upright standing stones found anywhere in the British Isles. The Hill of Tara, the jewel of the Boyne Valley, a site that has been in use for more than 5,000 years as a place of burial and assembly. It is also known as the site of the ancient Irish kings. At its summit, the Fia Fall, or Stone of Destiny. Legend has it that when the king placed his foot on the stone, it cried out to announce his rightful reign. There is also a passage tomb known as the Mound of the Hostages, which was constructed around 2500 BCE. The passage is short and is aligned with the cross-quarter days of Samhain and Imbolc. Just inside the entrance on the left there's a large decorated orthostat. Conor Newman, an archaeological lecturer from NUI Galway, carried out a ground survey on the hill between 1992 and 1996. He discovered post holes of a large wooden henge or temple containing about 300 posts and probably dates from about 2500 to 2300 BCE. Knockeen Portal tomb survives complete and dates to around 3500 BCE, with 5 large uprights and unusually 2 capstones. First recorded in 1864, it has an elongated chamber that measures 3 metres in length. One of Ireland's most picturesque Neolithic sites, situated in a natural amphitheatre of volcanic mountains on the fabulous Beara Peninsula. While relatively small as a stone circle goes in Ireland, it's estimated to date from 2500 BCE. The circle rests on a small hill that sits between 2 lakes. The centre of the circle has been dug out by treasure hunters in the past. This is a classic 5-stone circle, although one of the entrance stones has fallen. The 10-foot monolith is set 2 feet from the axle stone. We would recommend visiting after some rain to make the most of the wonderful waterfall, which provides a stunning background. A major part of the Irish landscape are the standing stones, or menors. Something of a curiosity, little is known of their intended function. Quartz stone was selected for these purposes. Perhaps they were boundary markers or alignment stones. These stones are difficult to date with precision, but they are generally believed to date from the late Neolithic to the early Iron Age. Doubt, also part of the Brunavonia complex and possibly the oldest. Known in Irish as Dovna, the darkening or the dark place, Doubt has long been associated with local witches. Curbstone 51, also known as the Stone of the Seven Suns, is said to represent the sun at different times of the year. Others suggest that it can represent the solar eclipses. It dates to approximately 3200 to 2900 BCE. The mound is 90 metres in diameter and 15 metres high. It's surrounded by curbstones, some of which are decorated and some are still buried. Martin Brennan documented a winter solstice sunset alignment in Doubt South, and the chamber does open for this event. Doubt North is highly decorated but is never open to the public. Carramore is the oldest and densest concentration of Neolithic sites in Ireland. Remains of over 35 monuments were found here, constructed over 6,000 years ago. The Stogel was erected around 3500 BCE and is surrounded by a cairn which has been reconstructed due to quarrying. It is thought that the monument aligns with the cross-quarter days. Multiple human remains were found in the chambers, and after a DNA analysis, a male buried in Listowel showed a detectable kin relationship to others buried in Newgrange and Carrowkeel. Results also indicated a more protein-rich diet from the general population, which would suggest a dynastic elite. This This is the best preserved and most interesting of the 5 circles erected around 3000 BCE, known as glebe stone circles. There is a buried cairn at its centre. The circles were first noted by Edward Lloyd on his tour of Ireland in 1699. It is thought the site was used for ritual purposes such as fertility rite, and also to mark the passings of the seasons, as the stones are arranged in a pattern that corresponds with the phases of the moon. Kenmare Stone Circle is comprised of 15 boulders, 13 standing and 2 fallen. At its centre is an impressive boulder dolmen with a giant capstone that weighs in an estimated 7 tons. It is dated between 2400 and 500 BCE, and the circle has a diameter of 16 metres. The central block is said to have been used as an altar for rituals during Neolithic times. There is suggestions of a ritual path approaching. Cuivy Keel Quartum is situated in the foothills of the Tuatha Mountains and is one of the finest examples in Ireland. Although not dated using modern scientific methods, it is estimated to date to around 3500 BCE. Excavations in 1935 uncovered 4 cremational burials, Neolithic pottery, polished stone axes, flint knives and some quartz crystals. It consists of a wedge-shaped cairn about 50 metres long, incorporating at its eastern end an oval-shaped court. In Glencullen, Newtown Hill has an earthen burial mound with a standing stone 1.5 metres tall just outside it. It appears to be aligned with the sunrise at the summer solstice. There is also remains of an ancient settlement and the remains of a large dugout cairn dating from the same period. An important standing stone known as Queen Maeve, located in the village of Glencullen, is one of the finest examples of a quartz standing stone in Ireland, and it measures 1.5 metres square. Castle Keelty Stone Circle, situated close to a stretch of the Wildbarrow Way. There are 2 stone circles, but only one of them is recognisable as a circle. Castle Keelty West has been estimated to be around 17 metres in diameter and containing approximately 12 stones. Only 4 remain. The 5 stone circle was built in a period of around 1000 BCE, and the remains of an individual cremation aged 25 to 30 years old was found in the central slab-covered pit. Overlooking Lough Arrow on the Blackheath Hills, you'll find the monuments collectively known as Carrow Keel. They were built between 3500 and 2400 BCE. There are 14 cairns located on the hilltops and another 12 in the vicinity. Originally excavated in 1911, the findings included animal bones, cremated human remains, tools and pottery. That particular crude pottery found in Irish passage tombs has become known as Carrow Keelware. An early version of the Neolithic roof box can be found above the entrance to Cairn G, similar to that at Newgrange. On top of Baltinglass Hill is an open multi-chambered cairn with the remnants of at least 3 tombs. It is believed that the cairn would date between 3500 and 3000 BCE. The cairn is surrounded by a kerb of large stones, and the inner kerb was revealed during excavations. Seafin Passage Tomb, which was built around 3300 BCE, unusually the chamber has 5 recesses. Its Irish name, Sue Finn, translates to Seat of Fionn. It was originally excavated by R.A. Stewart McAllister in 1931, but no artefacts or human remains were found. Ballybrack Dolmen is located in a housing estate in South County Dublin, and it dates to around 2500 BCE. The granite capstone is estimated to weigh around 12 tons. The entrance faces east and there is no doorstone remaining. A small-scale excavation was undertaken to determine the extent of the site, but no artefacts were ever recovered. We also use this monument as our logo. When Neolithic people migrated into Ireland, the main change they brought was farming. The practice of farming spread from the Middle East through Eastern and Southern Europe and reached the British Isles around 4000 BCE. The settlers brought cows, goats and sheep. They introduced cereal and cultivation. They also entered through inlets such as the Boyne Valley, which had a low-density woodland and perfect for their needs. Another important legacy left by the Neolithic people were their megaliths, as they are the only things that have survived largely intact from this era. Megaliths are not unique to Ireland. They can be found in high numbers across Western Europe, including Spain, Portugal, France, notably Brittany. And there is a visible connection left in the artwork carved into these ancient stones. This was all pre-Celtic invasion, but the two will be forever entwined due to the artistic influence that carried across into the Irish Celtic era. There are many ancient myths associated with these sites. They were handed down as oral tradition and later documented in what is known as the mythological Ulster, Fenian and King cycle. These have given us a rich mythological history which covers the Tuatha De Danann, a supernatural godlike tribe with stories of Dagda and Bowen, both associated with the Brú na Báine complex. Dagda being the all-powerful god and Bowen being the goddess of the river Boyne, from which the river derives its name. There are also many myths associated with the colleague or witch, the banshee being the most well known, but we have many dark and devious spirits in our mythological tapestry. Stone circles and standing stones were often the haunt of the fairies. Portal tombs and burial mounds have been known as the entrance to the underworld and the fairy kingdom. These sites have also been associated with the great warrior kings and queens of Ireland mentioned in the Ulster cycle, such as Cú Chulainn and Queen Maeve, and in the Fenian cycles such as Finn McCool and the already mentioned Hout Dolmen, Adrian's grave. Dolmens and tumuli have been associated with the burial of these great warriors, and many local names reflect this tradition. The High Kings of ancient Ireland had their seat on the hill of Tara, as mentioned in the King cycle. It speaks of great battles and land grabs, and is a collision between myth and history. Monuments aligned with the winter solstice sunset, such as Doubt, are frequently connected with darkness and death, unlike likeness and rebirth stories of those aligned with the sunrise, such as Newgrange. As already mentioned, there are well-documented alignments with the sun and the moon on many of these sites. But there are theories of alignments with the stars and or the planets, most notably Venus, the morning and evening star. So many thanks for joining us on our journey. Make sure to like and subscribe. We will be back with more detailed videos on individual sites and their particular history. And hope to see you all soon.